It is common to see signs like this after a storm indicating sewage contamination. This evening, we are getting a better idea of just how much of that contamination is flowing after Hilary's landfall. My Anchor Kimberly Hunt is live tonight along the Tijuana River Valley, right by the U.S. Mexico border. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Wale. Yes, this is really a story I hope that someday I won't be doing, because for years I have been here at the Tijuana River area and I've shown you a site just like this. Right behind me is the Tijuana River channel. The river flows into this channel. The channel flows into the estuary into the ocean about 6 miles south of San Diego. And just over the weekend, because of the heavy rains, like every time we have heavy rains, it's estimated that there's been 1.8 billion gallons of sewage just over this weekend that is dumped into the ocean water of the South Bay. And as I've told you in previous reports, and I've taken the maps from the areas where they watch those maps, they have shown that the sewage goes all the way up into Point Loma, but it's routinely up around Coronado. We know that the Navy swims off Coronado. Obviously, we have our beaches where we would like to have swimmers be able to safely swim. And I want to bring in Morgan Rogers. He's with the International Boundary and Water Commission. Thank you for coming in, Morgan. Right. And every single day, the one treatment plant here on the U.S. side can only really filter about 25 million gallons of raw sewage, which is vastly not enough. You need at least 50 million. But it's been a long road. $300 million was set aside under the Trump administration in the latest U.S. Canada-Mexico agreement. Just recently, the EPA and International Boundary and Water Commission got the agreement that at least that money can start going into a design concept that is nowhere near being built. What is the situation now?
Well, that is correct. Our plant is designed and permitted to treat 25 million gallons per day. We have plans to expand the plant to double the capacity to 50. There is $300 million that was allocated with the USMCA Act, and that went to EPA, has been transferred to the IBWC. That $300 million is not enough to do the expansion that we would like, in addition to some rehab that's required to support that expansion. However, we are going forward. We are putting out to bid a design-build contract, which will go out first part of next year, and then the design will start sometime also next year, and then construction will follow. We are trying to get additional funds so we can execute the scope that we'd like to do for the plant.
Because Gavin Newsom recently called for more money, so he's calling for more money on top of the $300 million, because that's not enough, as you just said. Also, the governor recently just declared the state of emergency, but this area, this sewage problem was not in that emergency fund that would come in. So we see the scope of this issue. It is a health issue on our side of the border, and there's only a couple of treatment plants basically worthless on the south side of the border. They don't seem to really be able to handle their own sewage in any way.
Okay, well, there are two small plants upstream of Tijuana. They're insignificant. Not a lot of treatment, about 6 million gallons per day. There was a treatment plant south, about 6 miles south of the border, San Antonio de los Buenos. It's been out of commission for about 15 years or more. So really the only treatment for the sewage in Tijuana is our plant. And our plant only treats wastewater from Mexico. So whatever we don't treat goes down 6 miles south of the border and is discharged into the ocean. And I think, as you mentioned, currents can bring that up and contaminate the beaches from Peoria Beach all the way up to Coronado.
You do represent the federal agency that is in charge of all this. So we ask you, I mean, how can this get solved in any kind of a fashion that really makes this a safer place for all the people in the South Bay, as this is really now up to Point Loma?
Right. Well, I've been a resident since '84, so this is my problem also. I've seen the news over the years, the decades. So we are taking action. I think the biggest action we're taking right now is the expansion of the plant, doubling its capacity. And in addition, Mexico does have plans to rebuild their wastewater treatment plant, which is 6 miles down south of the border. Unfortunately, it does take time, so we're probably looking at 3, 4, 5 years before these plants are in operation. But once they are in operation, we do estimate it'll reduce the transboundary flows by about 90%. So we are taking some big action. Unfortunately, it does take time.
Yeah, you're saying 5 years, Morgan. Yeah, Rogers, thank you so much for stopping by and giving us some of that expertise. No easy answers, Wale. And obviously, as we've said, the governor is asking for more money, but all of this is going to take time. And really, time isn't on our side at this point. It's been a problem for decades.
Yeah,
Wale.
and I know you have been covering this for really years now, Kimberly. Hopefully we get a solution soon. Thank you so much.